Well, greetings viewer. Here we are with Barry Peatling once again on a Monday afternoon. Slightly earlier than normal, but you probably can't tell.
No.
How are you, Barry?
I'm very well, as a matter of fact, Colin. It's a lovely day, a bit windy out there, but it's going to be a very warm day and night.
So we've got a few topics to get through today,
Yeah.
including the test match. We thought that this would be doing this during the test match of Perth, but it ended quite abruptly yesterday. So we'll get to that in a minute.
One of the shortest days we've had for a long time. Shortest test, I mean, for a long time.
We'll talk about the plucky demons that fell to that old rough magic.
Yeah, that's Barry Boy. Back in the mid-60s, Rapagna was playing horse. That's horse with the demon colours, which they call the demons, and that was pretty good photo. That was on, they used to have a sports show up there on BTV6 of a Sunday morning, like World of Sport on Channel 7, and that photo, when they covered the Women's League, that photo column was on there for 3 years. When the Women's League came up, that was on.
You were the face of the Women's League.
Oh, face of the Women's League column, that's right.
Pity they couldn't get a better looking face.
The only trouble is when I left them, I left to go over to Shepparton to play up in Shepparton, and I come back about probably 8 months later, and somebody said, oh, here's your photo on the Women's League. So I looked at it and checked it out. It was pretty good.
Very good. This is an article by Maury Lawson.
Yeah, one of the number one sporting writer in the Women's League, and that was a pretty good action. I got about 2 or 3 seconds later, Colin, I got away from that fellow there. That was Wayne Farr. He kicked the goal. I
haven't read the caption, but it says it's called Gotcha. That photo.
He looked as though he got me, didn't he? But he
Gotcha.
Didn't. I was gone. I was on.
It says the expression on face of Horsham's Wayne Farr as he set himself to tackle Repugnant's cheeky but clever rover Barry Peatling.
I was too smart for him, Colin. He just about had me, but just a split second I was gone.
It says there that Barry Peatling, who has the ball, seems to be grinning at Farr's attempt. In the background is Repugnant's ruckman Graham
Gale, yeah.
Gale, okay.
Graham Gale.
Well, that's very good. Interesting.
Very good photo.
Very good. So we just had the test match finish, Barry. What do you think about Australia and India?
Australia, Colin, they are 3 or 4 classes above India at the moment, and as I said, talking yesterday, that this time last year, India was number 1 ranking, and I think Australia was number 5, which I said before. But I reckon they, after this series, I think they might slip up to about at least number 2, wouldn't they? Maybe the loss to New Zealand might keep them down to 3. Pakistani, they're above us.
South Africa, England.
South Africa, yeah, they might finish up with number 1, I reckon, in a few months. But no,
I think the loss to New Zealand may cost Australia a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because to lose to a lowly ranked nation like New Zealand is...
They're on the bottom, aren't they?
Yeah, they're like 8 or something.
No, we're sort of coasting along very nice. We're going to, as I said last week, we're going to have the best fast attack for the next 10 years, because we've got fellas who can't get a game with Australia that would get a game with any other side in the world. Yep. That Mitchell, what's his name? Mitchell Stark, isn't it?
Yep. Left arm.
He'll probably get the flick for
Lyon.
Matthew Lyon, but he's going to. First I had a good look at him. He can bowl. He's a ripper.
He's a
bit like Mitchell Johnson.
Exactly. A little bit erratic.
But he can bat too. I mean, you've got 4 or 5, at least 4 good fast bowlers who Captain Peter Settle can bat too.
What about David Warner?
I told you weeks and weeks ago he's going to be the new Gilchrist, but the only thing about different him, he's going to be able to open in a test and open in one day in 2020.
He was unbelievable in that last the last session on the first day. He just took it by the scruff of the neck.
It just takes control. I mean,
took control.
Friday
night it was, yeah.
I mean, he made some runs he made a test 100 against New Zealand, but when we get against the South Africa, what's his name? He's a really good fast bowler. What's that fellow's name in South? Dale Steyn.
Yeah.
He's probably the best fast bowler in the world. Right?
Yeah, probably. Siddle and Hilfenhaus are getting up there.
How old's Hilfenhaus? Is he 28?
He's in his 20s.
Yeah, he's pretty old, I think.
Yeah.
But we got Patterson,
yeah.
Cummings, and they're not even playing.
No. Harris,
he's 26. He's a very, him and Harris and Peter Siddle, they're very sort of similar players. They can bat and they can bowl, which is, they're going to be fully complemented with fast bowlers for the next 10 years.
You made a few predictions, Barry. They were slightly
Yes,
up.
you
One of them
mentioned
was you said India would make 150.
Yeah, miles. No, I made something 63, didn't I? 64,
Yeah, something like
64.
that. Yeah. So.
And I said to go out 4 days. But to go out 3.
What's wrong with their team?
They're just not good. They're too old now. Too old, and as I said last week, they'll be ducking and weaving with this fast ball, which they were. They didn't. But that's 3 of the last 4 wickets. Panic.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle fast ball. Sure.
How long do you think Laxman's got?
Not very long.
Finished. Dravid?
Dravid, he's on around the turn. Yeah, he's probably. But they'll. Of course, you told me today, Mr. Dhoni's been.
He's been dropped.
Reported and suspended
fine.
for a week.
No, it's suspended for a test match. Yeah.
Yeah, a week. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's been suspended because
Overrate.
of slow overrates. Yeah.
Which is that's got to be the first for. I brought that rule in about 20 years ago. They never approached it, did they? They just let it go. But now they're starting to. But don't you worry, India will be cracking up because they run the test all around the world.
They'll be up in arms. But I think what's happened, it's a little bit different this time around because remember last time they came, they were grizzling and crying and angry with.
Well, they're always whinging.
But they're not so bad now because they are pathetic. Just because they're pathetic, not the umpires are pathetic or
That's right.
Australia's are doing things. It's their
Blame the umpires,
their own fault because all their guys have not. The only bright spark is that guy Kohli for them. I think he scored a few runs.
Well, that's about all. But the little maestro, he's on his
last league.
He'll won't see him back in Australia again. But he's when he goes, him and Laxman and Dravid and Sayway, they'll probably all retire, won't they?
Yeah, I think so. Just one more thing about a prediction you said that was completely way off the charts. You said it was going to go for 4 days.
Well, I went for just under 3 days. I wasn't being smart when I said that last week. They made 150 because I just can't handle fast bowling. They proved that unless 4 wickets for 10 runs or something, the last 4 wickets for 10 runs yesterday.
Yep, extraordinary.
And we are.
Where they're going next?
I don't know where they're going.
Going to Adelaide.
Oh, Adelaide. This is the last test, but this is the finish of the series, isn't it? There's only 1 day's come up with 2020.
Yeah, they got Adelaide and then they played 2020s and 1 days in February.
Who are they playing against?
And I think Sri Lanka's coming out as well. I think you're right, they might be having a try series.
Oh, I thought there was, yeah. It's going to be India, Sri Lanka and Australia.
Yep.
Well, I win that too, because Warner will make about 300, about 12 overs. That man's extraordinary.
Extraordinary. Just switching over to another sport for a minute, in tennis, the Australian, what do they call it? The Australian Open is happening in about a week's time, is that right?
Coleman's starting today.
Oh, there we go. I'm really into it.
About a week out. You're a week behind, but you like tennis or you hate tennis.
What's your prediction about Tomic then?
My prediction about Tomic, I said last year when I watched him play in the semi-final in Wimbledon, I said I don't know where it was, but I was watching it, and I said he'd give Djokovic a very good run for his money, and 12 months on, and he just won the Open.
He won Kooyong, didn't he?
Won the Kooyong Open, beat 2 or 3 of the top 10 players in this Australian Open. But he's got a pretty tough through. He's got Federer and another couple of. He makes it through to today. Federer, and he's got 2 else. He's got Sonia. Anyway, but he'll go. I reckon it's a very big chance of making semi-finals.
Okay, so you predict
will
he beat Djokovic?
Look, I said before in the semi-final last year in the Open in the Wimbledon, he took 2 sets off.
So will we be speaking about him this time
for
next
about
week?
15 years.
We'll be speaking about this time next week as I'm still in the final.
He'll be in the second week. Yeah, I reckon he'll make the second week. But then I'm sure he comes up to the second. If he gets over today, plays the next fellow. But I think his third opponent will be Federer. I think, which is a pretty tough draw. But I think Federer's nowhere near as good as he was.
What about Sam Stosur?
She'll fire up. She'll get into the action.
She said she's not going to win it. She can't win it.
I'll tell her she's big chance. I wouldn't mind having something on it. She's probably about 8-1. I think
it's not her court.
And she? Well, that's a bit of
but didn't she win the American Open? Yeah,
she won
similar court, isn't it?
She won the US Open. No, it was the French Open, wasn't it?
US Open, yeah.
French Open, was it US?
US, yeah.
No, she won an Open, one of the majors, and she's a very good player. Very strong, tough.
Alright, well, moving off the tennis over to football a little bit, and this is local footy. People have been asking about, what's this Chelsea Grit book launch?
Yes, Conor, I just checked on my computer.
Tell us a little bit about it and what it is, when it is.
Just checked my computer today, which I don't check the emails too much. So I noticed another email from Mr. Chelsea Football Club. I've been invited to the book launch of the Chelsea, what's the name of the book?
Chelsea's Grit.
Chelsea's Grit, yeah, in February the 7th, so I thought...
Whereabouts is that? Over here?
We'll be open with the new rooms.
Will you be able to take your camera over and get a little...
Well, I've seen I've had they've had the, what do you call it, the courtesy to invite me over there. It's very, very nice. I'm quite proud of that.
Maybe get a little bit of footage, just a few minutes for the viewers.
Yeah, I will, and because that's a pretty feel sort of privilege to be invited to that. This is a very big book launch, Colin, and 100 years of Chelsea Football Club.
So, just the date again?
February the 7th, February
yeah.
the 7th, I think it's 6:30.
Over at the ground.
But you got to get
the new,
It's in the, Tommy Williams'
Johnson, isn't it?
No, Tommy Williams' room.
Okay.
So they'll resume the rooms will be finished because I'm just saying something about the rooms today. They are
immaculate.
They must have finished
car parking at the front.
Car parking, there's cement everywhere. So
yeah.
So it'll be a privilege to be able to see this. I might invite it. It's about $75, and Lee Matthews is going to be there too. Signed books. If you want to sign.
So just talking about the footy again, when does the training start?
I think it starts this week.
Oh, okay.
Again, because they had...
so when are you going to make your comments on the season? Is this going to happen within the next month or so?
Well, I reckon because I'll probably have I'll look to practice. I'll probably have 2 or 3 practice games, might be 3 or 4, I don't know. But I'll go and have a look what I did last year and just see how they come up and how they're looking and what recruits are like, and I'll give my Chelsea your viewers out there that a little bit of a rundown what we're in for this year, and I think it's going to be a very good year for Chelsea because I've got a little bit of information about new recruits, and plus I've got 2 carpenters from Bun Beach who will be a big addition to the side.
Very good. So next week we might have more updates on the tennis, Adelaide Test match preview, and some more action to do with the Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah, well, I'll keep you updated because this rooms is going to be, as I said a few weeks ago, it's going to be the best rooms in the competition, the best football ground, and probably the best football side. So keep in tune and keep in touch, and see you next week.
So that's goodbye from me.
Bye from me.